Cindy, what's your read on the whole, men lead, women follow, masculine, feminine roles? How does that sit with a
Um,
feminist in you?
well, I would really say the way I would summarize my feelings on it would really be if I'm on my own, then yeah, absolutely. The expectation would be to be independent because obviously who else is going to take care of me? But obviously, if I'm in any sort of relationship with a man, or even, I mean, this may even be a bit of a stretch, but even if it's like a friend with a man, like I always just naturally assume that the man is going to take on that masculine role, for better or worse. I mean, you're obviously free to do that, but that's just my outlook on it. I mean, even with a friend, for example, if he's, let's just say he's taking me out for dinner or something, and then after like, or we go back to his place, I can help him tidy up. Not in any, like, this is completely, what is it, non-sexual, but, but I just mean in the sense that I feel like I just naturally follow that feminine role when I'm with a man. So I would expect the same from a man, if that makes sense.
Doesn't that conflict with the whole a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle, and men and women are equal, and all that sort of
I
stuff
mean,
that
I
feminism has been telling
I
women?
to some, I guess to some degree, yeah, you're not completely wrong about it. But at the same time, the I just don't see the purpose of having a man in my life if he's not going to take on a masculine role. If I'm being completely blunt, to be honest, if I feel like if I'm going to have a man around, you're going to be doing manly things, I guess.
So how can you be feminist and also feminine when it's convenient? Like you're feminist when you're single, but if you're around a strong masculine man that can lead, and you want to enter his frame and you dig his vibe, then you
Yeah.
go feminine.
Well, I mean, and I think that's really up to my discretion, right? Ultimately, it just really depends on whether or not I feel that in that moment. Would it be more beneficial, I guess, to go more of a feminist route, or to go the more feminine route? And I just feel that in interpersonal relationships between men and women, the only way to have a successful relationship between a man and woman is if a woman just takes that submissive role. It's otherwise it's going to be just nonstop butting heads. Nobody really knows what their role is, and it's just going to be a power struggle because, well, if we're going, let's just say even 50-50, for example, well, then I obviously expect to be regarded as an equal partner in the relationship. But the issue with that is that realistically, like, men don't really like taking orders from women. Let's be real. Like, if I tell my man, don't go do this, go do that, we're supposed to be equals, he'll be like, well, you're a woman. Who are you to tell me A, B, C, D? Like, I'm the man. I'm supposed to lead, which I take a huge issue with because if you're the man and you want to take on the dominant role, as the large majority of men in relationships tend to want, then I think that you should take on the majority of the responsibility as well. But my issue is that I feel like men want the authority and the ability to tell a woman what to do, where to go, what to say, how to dress, this and that, da 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 da, A B C D. But then when it comes to down to actually taking real leadership in a relationship, no man knows how to lead anymore. So it's like you're trying to have your cake and eat it too.
Cindy,
No man knows how to lead anymore. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
get
don't
the
agree with that at
notion
all.
though. I get the feeling that in a relationship you would have a hard time taking orders,
Well,
even from a guy. Even from, I mean, I'm just going out on a limb here,
I mean, I don't know,
but
because
I
you know what? I don't know.
mean,
I think I can
What
take
makes you think that,
because
Moff?
because you talk about authority or responsibility, but with responsibility comes authority,
Yeah,
right? So I mean,
absolutely.
so it's like, look, guy comes to you, says, I'm
Yeah,
paying the bills, I'm taking care
absolutely.
of you,
Yeah.
but like
Then I
for
will submit.
in this example, no more guy friends, no more other dudes taking you
Absolutely
out to
fair.
dinner. Which I
Absolutely.
mean, I don't know why you would have guy friends in the first place,
Yeah, yeah.
but I mean, that's something else we can get into. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Because this is something we hear a lot. Like, oh, I'm independent when I have to be independent, and I'm strong and independent. But when a guy comes along, then I just become this submissive princess, and everything's wonderful. And I, it's just not something that I think manifests itself in reality. I think that the way you act, like the way you practice, is the way you play. Like, if you're going to be a dominant person, you're going to be independent, and you're going to exhibit domineering and sort of masculine traits. Like, you're going to do that in a relationship also. I don't think that this idea of conditional femininity is something that actually exists in reality. I think that women that are feminine are naturally feminine, and they're always feminine. There's not this sort of like, well, I'm a boss babe at home, but then I can just turn that off when I'm in a relationship, because that's always going to have that's when that butting heads starts. It's not necessarily that the guy isn't pulling his weight, it's that your natural inclination is to continue to want to be that leader and want to kind of be that domineering force in a relationship. And if that's, I just don't think I don't think it's feasible or plausible to think that you can just turn it off like a light switch.
I would disagree with you personally. I think that realistically, I don't really think that there's a pragmatic way to really be the ultimate feminine woman in the Western world anyway, just because with the expectations that are placed on women nowadays, like you are expected to work, you are expected to pay your own bills. So as
But
much as I,
who's putting that expectation on women? It's not men.
well, realistically, if I need to survive, I mean, well, what am I going to do? Am I not going to work? Am I just going to starve
Find a
myself?
man.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. Okay, find a man, but even in order for me to get to that point, like there's still going to be those in between stages where I'm going to have to be able to be self sufficient, self reliant, and be able to be completely independent until I'm able to find that masculine man for me to be like, okay, you know what, there he is. Let me finally step into my feminine energy, and I can finally just kind of step out of it. No woman wants to be in a masculine role. I think this is the part that the red pill doesn't really understand: is that no woman wants to be in this role. We're forced to take on this role. So
There's some truth to
I
what
wouldn't
she's
say that
saying,
we're
Moff.
forced. I think it's just a responsibility.
I
Like we're
think it's just
supposed to take
responsibility.
care of ourselves.
Nobody,
Yeah.
no feminine will, like even me.
So,
Do I want to work? No, absolutely not. But do
so
I
let me
have
ask you
to?
this question. You said you're Middle Eastern. What does your father say about your? Sorry.
Sorry, you're talking to me?
Yeah, you said
Yeah,
that
no, no,
you're
Albanian.
Albanian.
Eastern
Sorry,
European.
Eastern European. Okay, so what does your father say about the whole like mindset and situation that you're on? You know, feminine versus feminist.
Well, I mean, you guys are probably gonna have a heyday with this, but my father's not in the picture. Yeah, my parents divorced when I was quite young, actually. He stayed back home in Eastern Europe, and my mom was the one who ended up raising me here. And we obviously had, I guess you could say, obviously financial issues. We obviously been due to being raised by a single mom,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's kind of where I feel like the deterioration of the nuclear family kind of started, is because I noticed all these problems happening because there wasn't that strong masculine role model in the family. Hence why, let's just say, like maybe problem A, B, C, D
Mm-hmm.
ended up happening in the family. Not to get into the dirty details, but yeah.
Did you have a uncle around or a
No,
grandfather
I don't have any
around?
family in Canada, to be honest. It's just my immediate family. So I mean, yeah, I think
Okay.
that kind of forces you to
And you
obviously
have
become a little
siblings?
bit independent. But yeah,
Do you have some siblings?
yeah, I have an older sister and a younger brother.
Did okay. So why did your mom leave your dad?
Uh, he was violent, abusive, kind of as Albanian men kind of are. And obviously, I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty self-explanatory after that point.
Do you think that she might have done anything to contribute to the breakup?
I don't think so. I think it's just the way gender roles are in Albania is that they've taken traditional roles to the max. And obviously, being a Muslim country, that doesn't help in the least when it comes to women's rights or women's autonomy, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't really have a lot of options growing up. Like it's more so like you're 18 years old, you're expected to get married right off the bat. Like first man is like the first man you're kind of stuck with. And once you're married for life, right? Like if the guy is a drunk, if he's violent, if he's abusive, like it's not really relevant at that point. You're just stuck with one man for life in order to protect the family's honor. That's
Okay, so you don't have any contact with him then.
no contact.
How do you think that shaped your opinions and views today?
Well, like I said, I think it has obviously forced me to become a lot more independent, obviously, because I don't have that masculine role model or energy in my own life. So I feel like I have to sort of overcompensate with my own masculine energy, obviously. But that's also why I feel like I definitely advocate for more of a, I guess, like traditional outlook on things, just because I do feel that at the end of the day, like in order for any relationship to be successful, it does require like a strong man leading the relationship and a woman essentially taking care of the home, and a man going out and working and providing and paying the bills, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and taking care of the family. Every single time I've seen that sort of dynamic played out in any sort of relationship, it's always seemed to be successful. There's plenty of relationships, obviously, even from the old world, where people like they'll maybe not necessarily get married when they're super young, but they come from more traditional backgrounds, and obviously they're forced to stay with their partner, or for better or worse. But I mean, at the end, like you can see that they have a very successful dynamic at home.
I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here, and pin down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.